Loans and debt are very important topics for college students. Let's see how debt is affecting Cabrini and its students.
Students here at Cabrini University are paying for their college expenses in a variety of ways, and that includes financial aid, which would mean scholarships and grants, and those scholarships and grant funding can come from Cabrini, and they can also be from federal or state resources. And there are students who also borrow. They take out student loans to pay for part of their college expenses.
So I do pay my own tuition. So with financial aid and scholarships combined, I do pay less to go to Cabrini than someone normally would going to a state school, if that gives you an idea. Up until my sophomore year, last semester, the second semester, I didn't have any loans until then. Now I am taking loans out for the remaining semesters. My parents were doing what they could to help me through my freshman and a little bit of my first half of my sophomore year.
I pay half of my tuition. My mom pays the other half, so we split it. I have an endowed education scholarship, so that's eligible for all ed majors. You just have to apply. And I also get a Cabrini grant, and I get the Dean's Scholarship.
So I'm a part of the honors program, so I do get that scholarship included, as well as a few other scholarships through Cabrini.
Some students might be better off if they were working a part-time job, or or paid for some of those expenses as they go along, as opposed to borrowing for some of those. But every student's situation is unique. Some students simply need to borrow just in order to pay for some of those extra things so that they're able to focus on their education.
I do have to work, but I usually only have to work summers and winter break.
It's really important to me to make sure I do go to work. Like for some people, it's just an extra thing, to add to your resume or CV or anything after school. But I definitely do rely on like the extra cash for gas money or even just my groceries, anything like that. So it is kind of more important. Obviously, classes come first, but work is right up there with that. So
when it comes to student borrowing, which I know is a very big topic, is some student borrowing can be a very good thing. It's an investment in the student's future, as long as the borrowing is done very responsibly, and the student is very careful in terms of how much they're borrowing, and paying attention to things such as interest rates and their repayment options.
I definitely do think like everybody worries a little bit about debt. I'm not that worried to like the point where some students I know are really worried because they have tons of loans that they are already responsible for. So I don't have as much taken out in loans as a lot of other students do. But I know that it's going to add up.
I will not have any debt leaving college, because with financial aid, that covers a lot of my tuition, and then whatever I have to pay is what I'm like literally paying for all of it. So I won't have any debt. I didn't take out any loans or anything like that. The reason I didn't take any loans out for anything, and I'm working very hard to not do that. Like that's my goal, to not take any loans out. I mean, if I eventually have to get there, I will. But the reason I'm doing that is because I am going into the education field, and educators don't get paid a lot. So I'm trying to save myself the despair later on when I'm struggling on a teacher's salary.
I definitely think the best advice like you can give students coming into Cabrini, or even while you're here, is just to check out all different scholarship opportunities. Anything that you can get, even a grant or a scholarship for, would be like ideal. They have them offered for several different abilities and like strengths, so you can definitely just research those, and really just try to manage your money, even like you're spending money, as best as you can. If you can afford to pay for your books one semester with a little extra change that you had, you just add everything up.
Any advice I would give you is work really hard. Apply for a lot of scholarships, because you don't think it saves you a lot of money, but it really does. So like in high school, I applied for like 15 different scholarships because I know how much debt it is, especially coming to a private school. I would recommend that, like, if you can take loans out that are very small amount, very small interest, because you always end up paying more than what you borrowed. So always take that into account, and also always take into account when you have to start paying these, because a lot of them are like 6 months after you graduate. So you must really like look at your loan information and really read through it.
We advise students and families to really not to pay attention so much to the sticker price, to the total cost of tuition fees, room and board, but instead to apply for all the financial aid options that they may be eligible for, and to pay more attention to their net cost, the cost that the student and the family will actually be responsible for.